Welcome everyone to another magical episode. This is getting so interesting. The conversation is just flourishing, and the topic is the latest and greatest, which is agents in the trenches. I mean, there are agents out there right now that are pushing through all the challenges that this new market is presenting in front of them. And we are here to just, be the voice. We're here to be the voice of what are these agents really going through? What does it feel like to be an agent that is pushing through in the trenches right now in this new market that we are all facing? And what are these struggles? What are these struggles really like, right? Because the struggle is real. So welcome once again. We're going to be talking about a hot topic today, which I think everyone is going to be able to kind of identify with. And if you are watching us live, I want you to put hashtag live. If you are watching us on replay, go ahead and drop some hashtag replay. Let us know your thoughts, your comments. Let us know your input, your feedback. What are you seeing are some of the struggles that agents are dealing with right now out there in the trenches? And to kick this off, I want to allow my co-host, my running partner here, Talia, to introduce herself, and take it away, Talia.
Thank you, Lucy. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Talia. I'm the lead agent here at Q International, and currently here too, being an agent in the trenches. It's been a wild ride for sure. Every day a new struggle, but it's definitely exciting. It's definitely something, an area for me to continue to grow as an agent and as just an individual myself, so just excited.
And I'm so happy that we're able to have this conversation together about agents in the trenches, about the real life struggles that agents are facing right now in this new real estate market. And even top leaders, even top brokers are feeling the resistance, So one of the things that I think is really important that we realize that if everyone is feeling the resistance in this new market, then how am I going to position myself to thrive? What are those things that I need to be aware of? And what are those things that I may not be aware of that are really going to hurt me in this new market? And one of those things is identifying, in my opinion, and this is what we want to talk about, identifying, am I getting stuck and what is causing me to get stuck? And one of the biggest reasons that I believe agents get stuck is because they start to focus on what they don't have versus focusing on what they do have. Okay, you must assess the things that you don't have to make a game plan. You got to acknowledge them. You have to have a target every day. You got to activate yourself every day. You got to be on point every day. Right now, there's no time for agents to be stopping and waiting. Guys, there's no time to be stopping and waiting. And I think that's even a bigger reason why so many agents are getting stuck, is because they're just stopping and waiting to see what happens. And right now, it is a moment for everyone to accelerate in anything and everything that you're doing, whether it's lead gen, whether it's lead cultivation, lead incubation, lead conversion, having those conversations, getting out there like never before. And that is going to help people, agents in the trenches, get unstuck, because getting stuck is one of the biggest epidemics that I'm noticing agents are dealing with right now. What do you think, Talia?
I think you're right on point. And I've seen this happen right in front of me, where I think it comes down to, at the end of the day, when you're doing the motions, right? You're doing the motions of what, they say leads to that success, leads to that ultimate goal, which is, either setting an appointment or getting a transaction or something like that. You're doing the motions, but then at the end of the day, you don't achieve your goal, right? So now you feel maybe defeated. Now you feel deflated, and now you're like, oh shoot, like all of that for nothing. But that's kind of like where your mind goes when you don't hit that target. So I think when you put yourself in like a high stress environment like that, it's maybe you already start to doubt yourself, doubt your abilities, and then you don't put your 100% effort the next time or tomorrow or the next day or whatever. You just start to slowly but surely deflate. And I've seen it happen before. It's happened to me. It's very common. I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans, right? So I think we talked about this as well, is we get attached to the outcome, right?
Mhm.
We don't fall in love with the process. When we
Yes,
don't fall in love with the process, then that's when that battle at the end of the day is harder to win.
absolutely. And you've said a mouthful right there with, we need to divorce the results and we need to marry the process. Drop that in the chat if you're listening now and write it down, make a mental note. You have to divorce yourself from the results. A lot of times you hold an open house and after one or two times, agents will say, open houses don't work. Open houses don't work. And we're like, what do you mean open houses don't work? Oh, open houses don't work because I did one and it didn't work. Okay, so how many times did you do it? Well, I did it twice. I did an open house twice. I did an open house twice and it just didn't work. Open houses don't work. So you have to divorce yourself from the results and marry yourself to the process. And you focus on the process. And each day, even like we many times have heard it before, but we need to make a mental note. If you are doing what you need to do day in and day out, if you're staying committed and consistent, if you're following the process that you know will get you to a transaction, stop focusing on what didn't happen. Stop focusing on the for sale by owner that didn't sign the listing. Stop focusing on the expired listing that didn't, sign up with you. Focus on the process, because the process is not only going to make you perfect at what you do. I mean, think about it. There's nothing wrong with practicing at a higher level. And right now, guys, this is what it's going to take. You must practice at a higher level. If you are looking to prepare when the for sale by owner calls, when the expired calls, when the buyer lead calls, if that's when you're going to prepare to get in the trenches and play it all out and win, that's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for you, because the level at which you practice will determine the level at which you play. The level at which you practice will determine the level at which you play. And there's so many agents right now that are stuck. They're having one dealitis. They're having, a closing once every 3 months. That's not enough practicing. That's why you have to divorce the results and marry the process. If you do what you need to do day in and day out, you will win. What do you think about that, Daniela? You agree?
I agree. We have 6 people watching right now, so if you're watching live, hit #live for us and drop some fire, because I think Lucy just nailed it right there. Divorce yourself from the results and marry the process. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to at the end of the day, and I think also it takes a little bit of like reprogramming your brain to do that, because again, when you're coming from like a 9 to 5 where you go through the motions of whatever you're doing, right? You're going through the motions of the day, and at the end of the day you're going to get a paycheck because you did your hours. But it's not like that in real estate, right? Maybe it'll come later on, right? 2-3 months from now, whatever you did today is going to show later on. So I think that's also a hard concept to grasp and reprogram your brain when you're getting new into the real estate and getting your feet wet and going through the motions and stuff like that. It might not be easy for someone to come in and from that mindset and change from the real estate mindset.
Absolutely. Here's the other thing. The fact that agents show up every day mentally, physically, and emotionally is going to help them get unstuck. The reason that a lot of agents are stuck right now is because they're not showing up. They're not showing up mentally. They're not showing up physically. They're not showing up emotionally. So what does that look like, Lucy? What does it look like to not show up mentally, physically, and emotionally? Well, for one, you have to have a morning ritual. You got to prime your brain every morning. Then you got to show up, surround yourself with people that know how to play to win. Drop it in the comments for me. You have to show up and play to win. You got to do the things you don't want to do when you know you need to do them. And let me tell you, if you do that, if you show up physically, you surround yourself with people that are playing to win. You prime your brain, you prime your mind, right? You are going to not only blow it out of the ballpark, you are going to score. I'm telling you, There's no magic. People are waiting for the magic formula. People are waiting for the secret sauce in winning in real estate or in any business, and it's showing up mentally, physically, and emotionally. Here's what that looks like. Every little bit of wins, you celebrate. If you make the calls, you celebrate. If you're talking to the people, you celebrate. If you're knocking the doors, you celebrate because you're winning. The fact that you didn't get a contract yet, it's only a matter of time. So that is where a lot of people are also being stuck, is they're not showing up. They're not showing up. And the magic behind this, Talia, is I've seen someone show up. I've seen people do what they know they need to do. Really put the pedal to the metal, commit. Even people that have committed for 30, 60, 90 days see the results. But then what happens? They stop. And that is an epidemic in our real estate industry, the stop and go of agents, the stop and go that agents have right now to what they're doing. And that's why they're ending up stuck.
So what would you tell someone that's going, or okay, let me ask you a question. A new real estate agent, someone that just got licensed and, have been in the work industry for all their life, and now they're going to transition to being an entrepreneur. So if you could recommend one book for them to read to help them, maybe, I don't know if it's something like a morning ritual or something like that, so they can prime their brains.
Oh my goodness. So you're asking me what would be that one book, right? I've got it right here. I'm going to tell you a little story about this book as I show it to you. In order to prime your brain, you need to feed your brain nutritious foods, right? We worry about feeding our body, right? We worry about feeding our body. Nowadays, a lot of people are talking about feeding the body well, right? Whole foods, real food, live food, because we know that that's going to give the best nutrition to our bodies. But what about our brain, right? What are we feeding our brain? Are we feeding it Netflix? Are we feeding it social media? Are we feeding it the latest gossip or the trends or all this stuff? When are we going to feed our brain nutritious whole food? Let me tell you, the first book that I ever read when I was ready to really take my business serious, this was towards the end of 1999. That's why I always say I started in real estate in the year 2000, because the previous 6 months before that, I was just dabbling. I was lost. I was confused. I was sitting around waiting to see what would happen, and absolutely nothing happened. Here's the book that I read. This book right here is the best food anyone could put in their brain. I've read it in 1999. I read it so many times. I read it all the time. It is near and dear to my heart because it teaches you how to really prime your brain from the inside out. People get into real estate thinking they're going to win, and they don't. And so what happens is they blame real estate. They say real estate doesn't work. No, you didn't work. Real estate, let me say something. No one ever fails in real estate. No one ever fails in real estate. You know what happens in real estate that causes people to fail is they stop doing the things that they know they're supposed to do when they know they're supposed to do them. But no one fails in real estate as long as they don't quit. And that's a God honest truth. I will go head on with anyone that can prove to me someone that didn't quit, someone that was committed, someone that was consistent, someone that divorced the results and married the process, someone that, paid the price of time, learning, implementation, pushing through your dead thoughts, your limiting thoughts, someone that pushed through getting out of their head, because when you're in your head, you're dead. Show me someone that has done that has failed in real estate. Now, failure is part of success. You do something, it doesn't work, you pivot. You do something, it doesn't work, you pivot. You do something, it doesn't work, you pivot again. You bob, you weave, you go, uppercut, undercut, over, whatever, you bat, you go to bat, you keep batting, you keep batting, you keep batting, you keep, throwing the baskets. Eventually you will become a Michael Jordan. Eventually you will become, the greatest champion. But if you quit, it's not the fault of the sport. It's not the fault of the industry. It's you stop doing what you knew you needed to do. So don't blame real estate. There's agents right now in real estate getting listings, having closings, procuring customers, doing what they need to do. So it's not the industry. And throughout all of history, throughout all of history, okay, I think real estate has been around, the National Association has been around for about 124 years. 124 years of proven numbers that real estate creates the highest income producing humans in the United States of America. And throughout those 124 years, we've had all kinds of markets. We've had all kinds of, challenges. But there's that kind of people, there's that breed of agent that defies the odds, right? Defies the possibilities. And says, you know what? If it's true that 89% of the sell by owners eventually list with the real estate agent, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to prove that that's true. I'm going to get out there day after day. The problem is we don't do it day after day. The problem is we as humans fail to be consistent. The problem is we've got squirrel hunting syndrome. Everybody's looking for the next shiny object. Everybody's looking for, there's no shiny objects that are going to give you a breakthrough. It's called boring, consistent, predictable, daily income producing activities. And that's what's going to give you the results.
I love that. So for those who missed it, Lucy recommended Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yes, I'm curious if anyone has read the book and how it impacted and changed your life. Please put in some comments below. Let us know. I actually listened to the audio book of that, but I didn't finish it, so I have to finish that book.
It's a powerful book. It has nothing to do with real estate, but it has everything to do with the human. And at the end of the day, we are in the business of humans. Our customers, our sellers, we are all humans. Another huge book that I've read before and I'm reading now again, as a matter of fact, I'm using it for my Spanish coaching with Latin America, is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book was literally written like in the author started it in 1912 and it was finally published in, I think, 1931. And, how do you win friends and influence people? It's funny to hear people in real estate say, I don't like people. I've literally spoken to people that say, I just don't like people. I don't like people. And I'm like, you know what? What is it about people that you don't like? Because that's really the bigger question, And I would dare to say that it's the things that we deal with in our own inner self that causes us to see that in other people. So like one of my coaches says, people are our mirror. We are all made up of frequency. That's why who you hang around with is so important, the community you have. And the worst habit that real estate agents have right now is, oh, I work from home. No, you don't. You don't work from home. Audit the hours of income producing activity that you are getting done on a weekly basis from home. And I would challenge to say, I would dare to say, and I would challenge anyone, unless there's this very few, I would say 0.5% of our real estate industry has the level of skills and discipline and focus and determination, okay, and stick-to-itiveness to really be highly productive from home. But if you audit the income producing activities that you are doing from home, I would dare to say it doesn't reach 10 hours a week. It doesn't reach 10 hours a week of highly income producing activity, because home is a very distracting place. Home is not a money-making environment. Home is not an atmosphere of business conversations most of the time, right? Again, there's that very few exceptions to the rule. But look at your income producing activity. How much of it are you doing? And then we get in our head and we're dead.
That's true. So Lucy, Helen mentioned that she needs the details on the lead class.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to be doing, and I launched a mastermind, and I started inviting people in person, right? And it was supposed to kick off the first week in April, but I think people are still not too committed to taking time out of their day, to sit in a room and grow, right? Because again, we are all suffering from this syndrome called squirrel hunting. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that, we're doing this. So I'm going to be doing a Zoom. I'm going to be doing a Zoom on one of the most organic ways. You and I were with one of our business partners the other day, and she was sharing with us, and it reminded me like, oh my God, that's right. I need to share this with my community. So it's a very organic way to learn how to generate leads on social media. So as soon as I have the date, I believe it's going to be the first week in May, which is only the 11th already today. So in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to put it out there so that everybody can start registering, and it's going to be on Zoom. But that is exactly what we need to do. We need to take action. We need to get into the right rooms. We need to start learning about generating more leads so we can have more conversations. I mean, guys, I just got off of my morning live that I do every morning at 8:30 with Latin America on Instagram. And now I'm jumping here because, Talia and I are committed to bringing these conversations. We're looking for the people that really want to grow. We're looking for the people that are hungry to thrive in this market, because it is not real estate on easy street anymore. And if you listen to the experts, it's only going to, I agree, I prefer in person. Okay, that's great. And a lot of people, and that's kind of like the shift that we're in. It's hard to gauge who wants in person. So I'll see if I can do it both ways, because, why not?
We should take a poll. We should do a poll and see what most people are willing to do it in person or in Zoom. And just see.
Yeah. Okay. So jot that down, and we'll put it. I'll have you help me with that, so we can put a poll out there. Thank you, Helen, for sharing that. I love in person. I mean, I love in person, and not only if in person or on Zoom, but what's the best day and time? Because everybody is like, you know what? It's not that people are productive; it's that people are just busy, and that's another thing that gets us stuck. Is, am I doing the things that are moving the needle forward, or am I just doing things to feel that I'm busy? Because busy does not mean productive. Busy does not mean productive. And that's another thing that is keeping a lot of the agents right now in the trenches. Guys, right now, listings is the name of the game. Listings is the name of the game. Who's with me on that? Drop it in the chat. Listings is the name of the game. It always has been. It always will be. So what is holding you back from becoming a lean, mean listing machine? What is holding you back from becoming a lean, mean listing machine? Listings is the name of the game. If you list, you last. So what is holding you back from becoming a lean, mean listing machine? And I would dare to say it's the skill sets, the level of skills that I have. It's not the same level of skills to work with buyers than to work with sellers. But it doesn't mean you cannot develop those skill sets. It's all a mindset. And let me tell you, once you get a listing, the money is in the bank. If you price it right, if you price it to sell, and you find a motivated seller, you're banking. The money is in your pocket, the money's in the bank. Versus, and even if the deal falls apart, you're still going to be able to put that deal back together. There's still someone else out there, or you may have backup offers. So right now, it is an ocean of blue opportunity for those agents and those people that want to swim away from the familiar. You have to be open-minded to learning how to navigate the new blue ocean of opportunities and possibilities, and how to create those possibilities for yourself so that you can position yourself properly. If you are stuck and you are not building your pipeline, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's only a matter of 90 days before your pipeline runs dry, and that's where That's where the real chaos is going to come in. That's where the real disaster is going to be felt. Because there's still business that was done January, February, and March that was a residual of October, November, and December. Okay? So listen to me closely. Your future is in your past. Your future is in your past. So if you had closings January, February, and March, it's because you were doing the things you needed to do, or you were having the conversations in October, November, and December. That gave you the closings for January, February, and March. What have you been doing, right, to produce and generate new income, new business in the month of January, February, and March? Because if the answer is, well, I was busy with the buyers, I was busy showing property, I was busy, closing deals, and you were not, procuring or producing or generating income producing activity, then you are going to feel your business suffer in the next 90 days, which is April, May, and June. And historically, the summertime is one of the slowest times in real estate. Maybe not in our area because so many people are coming here now, right? But you've got to gauge your business. You've got to run your business like a business in this new market for you to really scale and thrive. You have to run your business like a business. This is not real estate on easy street anymore, where the government or the feds were giving away money. This is like full throttle, all out, boots on the ground, run your war gear, take out your ammo, because it's face-to-face combat.
Yeah, like you always say, it's hunting season. It's time to hunt.
It's hunting season. Yes, that's good. So definitely, there's a lot of agents that are stuck or are coming to a moment of feeling stuck.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just being a new agent in a market like this is already difficult as it is, because you're building your skill set, and if there's no business coming in, then there's nothing for you to do, right, or learn from experience. So it's definitely, like you said in the beginning, practice when you can, practice when you're not doing anything, and don't wait until that buyer, that seller comes along to then practice, because then you're already too late. So we always mention, it's a summer of skill set. So right now is the time to build it and continue to practice, find someone to role play with, and nothing. Just keep doing it as much as you can.
And that's exactly the thing. Right now, everybody's going to have to learn two really important words called massive action. Massive action. It's going to take massive action. And here's the worst part. I've spoken to people that right now are out in the job world, right? They have a job. They've been wanting to leave their job. And now real estate, I was having a conversation last week with an agent. And this agent was telling me they have a job, but they want to leave their job. There's nothing worse than doing something you don't like. Like right now, I am having the best time of my life because I am doing what I love. I'm not even doing it for money. The money just keeps showing up. The money just keeps coming. But it's taken massive action. So massive action needs to become your new mantra. Massive action has to become your new mantra. Why do people get stuck in real estate? I'm gonna touch on the last one that I think is a huge one for a lot of people, and it's disempowering thoughts. Thinking about what hasn't worked, thinking about what hasn't come to pass, thinking about what you didn't do, thinking about what you could have, should have done, thinking about the losses and not the wins. Disempowering thoughts will get you stuck. And there's a lot of people right now that are, dead in their head, having disempowering thoughts. And, that's why you're feeling stuck, because the moment you start focusing on the glass being half empty, you shut your mind to possibilities. You shut your mind to what else can happen. You shut your mind to, well, what if I did this? What if I pivoted and did that? And let me tell you, Talia knows this from firsthand experience. I don't wait too long to change things. I jump on it quick. I mean, I look at it like I'm an MMA fighter, and I don't have time to sit there and wonder, do I wait, before I make a change? This isn't working. It's not. No, I change it immediately. And when you study the lives of millionaires and billionaires, they make changes very quickly, without fear, because at the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen? You hear me say that all the time, right, Talia? What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? But watch out for those disempowering thoughts. Watch out for that negative energy. Watch out for that, low vibe, because that brings you into a frequency of disempowerment. And if your frequency is disempowering, just everything starts going wrong. Talia, have you ever seen that, like they say, when it rains, it pours?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been through many storms, many storms, and that was all created in here. I mean, one bad little thing that happens, and now the whole world ended in your head. And
Yes.
I was actually listening to a podcast this morning where they mentioned about stress, right? Stress, and then how it's good and how it can kill you, right? Because stress, I mean, it can be good, but it's what you tell yourself in those moments where you're in a stressful situations that make all of the difference. So the conversation that you're having, and then realizing that you're having that conversation and acting quickly, like you mentioned, is another thing you need to act quickly, because if not, it overpowers, and then now that rain turns into a storm, and now you're in the middle of a hurricane and you can't get out, and you kind of can't see. So I agree with you. I definitely agree that this empowering thoughts can be huge and can kill someone. Maybe not physically at that moment, but emotionally in those moments of distress.
Here's where the disempowering thoughts come from. They come from the people you surround yourself with. They come from the atmosphere that you are putting yourself in. They come from the environment that is all around you on a daily basis. So you have to be aware of, who am I hanging around with? What are the conversations that I'm having? What is the atmosphere in the room? And they come from the tables you sit at to have conversations. So you have to be really careful about those things. What table am I sitting at? If you are in a circle of people that all they're doing is murmuring, grumbling, complaining, whining, you're in the wrong circle, guys. You're in the wrong circle. Watch out for the circles you're in. If you are in a circle of people that all they're doing is talking about how bad things are, all they're doing is talking about how difficult things are, if you are in that circle, then you are in the wrong circle. I'm here to tell you, get out and find a new circle. Find a circle of winners. Find a circle of champions. The conversation changes when you are surrounded with people that know how to win and that like to win. I don't care if things are just not even going the way that winners expect. The conversation is different. They see things from a different perspective. They talk about things from a different perspective. They talk about the possibilities, They talk about, how can we get this done? They talk about their failures becoming their best friends because it taught them what was not going to work. They talk about their opposition becoming their trampoline because they were able to defy the possibilities. They talk about, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. They talk about, the magic of life when we're facing a giant, and the fact that I'm not backing down. I am not backing down. So I'm going to go through this mountain. I'm going to get to the other side of this mountain, whether I go over it, under it, around it, or blow the baby up, but I'm getting to the other side of this mountain. That's the kind of conversations you want to be around. That's the circle you want to be around. You want to be around a circle of people that pick you up when you fall down. You want to be around a circle of people that breathe life into you when you're dead in your head. You want to be around a circle of people that can say, listen, one hand up, one hand down. I'm going up and I'm bringing you with me. That is the kind of circle you want to be around. Disgracefully, those circles are not very common in today's traditional real estate offices. Disgracefully, that is not a common atmosphere and environment that we find in today's traditional real estate brokerage offices. So that's where the agent has to take full responsibility. Don't blame your broker. Don't blame your team leader. Don't blame anybody. You need to make the decisions that are going to get you to that next level.
I think that's very interesting, what you just said, because you read books and you hear like what makes a successful person, right? The mindset, what you do, who you're surrounded with. And we're in a field that you can be extremely successful as long as you implement the things that you learn and you surround yourself with people who are striving to win as well. So it's interesting to hear that that's not the traditional modern day real estate office these days, because if everyone took that and implement it in their office, maybe daily practices, I don't know, kind of like implementing those things, then it would be a whole different ballgame. I mean, we would be playing at a different level, everyone, whether you're new or in the business, you just started, whatever, that would be like a level up.
Absolutely. And it's everyone's responsibility to level up. Everybody has to own it. Here's one of the biggest things that happens in the real estate industry and in life in general, and it's blame shifting. I'm not producing because the interest rates are up. That's not true. I'm not producing because it's hard to get financed now. That's not true. I'm not producing because my broker stopped giving me leads. That's not true. I'm not producing because, my team leader didn't teach me how to lead generate. No, you chose the broker. You chose the team leader. You chose to be where you are for whatever reason. No blame, no shame, right? But you made that decision. So at the end of the day, you're not producing because of you. If you're a brand new agent, yes, it's going to take you longer, but you're still going to make it. But you just got to show up and take massive action. If you are a top producing agent and your business has slowed down, then maybe you're around the wrong circle. Maybe you have to go. And here's a big one. And this is where the ego gets in the way. And most top producers, they can't handle it. Maybe it's time you go from being an expert to being a student again. Maybe it's time for you to shed the ego and go from being the expert to being the student. Maybe it's time for you to go from being, the teacher to being the learner, the apprentice. And there's no shame in that. If anything, it's honorable. I remember when we were at Agent Academy, right, in January. And I saw Glenn Sanford walk in and sit in the back of the room. And he was auditing the session because he wanted to see if this was the level of content he wanted to bring to his community of agents. So if you're with a broker or a team leader that is too big and mighty to say, you know what, in this new season, I need to get back in the trenches with my agents. In this new season of real estate, I need to become my best level student that I could have ever been, because my growth determines the growth of those that are following me, those that are believing in me. And if you're a team leader and you are not willing to go from being, the professor, the teacher, to the apprentice in order to grow and scale so that you can rise higher, so that you can level up to that next level and bring people with you, then those people that are surrounding these brokers and team leaders, I would say, listen, you need to audit. You need to audit. You need to ask yourself, so what is it that I am getting by being in this environment, by being in this atmosphere? Because the level of the leader determines the level of the followers or the other leaders, right? And so it's that kind of conversation that people need to start having nowadays, because it's not going to get easier. Guys, it is not going to get easier. Do not be fooled. Now, we in Southwest Florida, where everybody wants to come, by the grace of God, that is the good news. But if you are not closing the deals you were closing, it's not going to get easier. You got to audit. There's something you're not doing. There's something you stopped doing, and there's something you need to start doing quickly.
That's right. This has been such a good conversation. I mean, we went from talking about, being stuck, what that looks like, how you can get out, and surrounding yourself with people to help you and lead you to the right direction. And then taking responsibility, right? Taking responsibility on, the actions that you took.
Yeah,
Right?
own it.
Where you're at, yeah, own it, and then do an audit,
Yes.
and change, because massive action is what's going to get you. It's going to solve all your problems.
Absolutely. You got to own it. You got to take massive action. Thank you, Talia. If you guys are watching live, give us #live. If you're watching on replay, put down #replay. Say hi to us. We'll say hi to you. Share this with a real estate agent that's in the trenches and is feeling the real life struggles of today's new market. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye, Tali.
Bye.